Okay, Mr. Allen here. We're going to go through the first kind of classic project to be done in Scratch. This is going to be a shark attack, and in fact, I will call it Shark Attack Demo here. So essentially, I've logged into my account. I've gone to Create New, and I've sort of added these two sprites to the screen. I'll add one more here. Choose a sprite from the library. I want to add an animal. And then I'm just going to scroll down and find the one I want. Let's go with the sick fish. Okay, and he'll come into play in a bit. I've got the cat still on my screen. I don't want it, so pretty straightforward. I can click on it and then delete it. I also have the ability to click on any sprite and duplicate it in case I want multiples of them. We'll do that maybe towards the end if we have to do that. So in this case, right now I've got fish 2, kind of the cute little yellow fish. And I'm going to add code to the fish. I've got my event here when the flag is clicked. I've got the fish moving forward 10 steps, and just to verify that that works, click on the green flag and you see the fish is moving every time I click the flag. So that does work. It doesn't serve me much purpose, but it does work. So what I would like for my fish to do is basically bounce around the screen kind of somewhat randomly, and then the idea is that the shark will chase the fish. Of course, to do anything, I always need to know what I'm trying to get done. So I want my fish to basically move around the screen, again, at a somewhat random a fashion. So I'm going to have my fish repeat forever the move 10 steps, and again, just sort of verify that that's working. Oh, there we go. But obviously not exactly what I want. Stop sign here to stop the program. I can see my fish is just kind of stuck on the edge of the screen. And I would like the fish to do something once it hits the edge of the screen. So now I am quite new to Scratch myself, and so I'm going to have to look for things at different points. And here we go. So I'm dealing with the motion of the fish, and basically if the fish is at the edge, it says if on edge, bounce. So the fish bounces back and forth, not too interesting just yet. Not going to be too hard to catch that fish either. So I think the problem we're looking at here is if edge bounce is simply going to say when I'm on the edge, obviously bounce straight away. To remove objects from our program here, if we just drag them off the screen, they do disappear. So what I'm going to do instead is change this up and make a little bit different if statement. I want, control here. I want an if. I'm going to go with essentially the same thought process. Oh, get in there. There we go. I want if I'm touching, and check here the edge of the screen, then what I want to do is bounce for sure, but essentially I'm going to do it in a different way. So now, if it says if I'm touching the edge, then what I want to do is turn, sort of rotate, a certain number of degrees. One option, of course, is to turn 15 degrees. And as we kind of hit, we bounce around turning those 15 degrees. Better. Obviously, this is going to make my fish much harder to catch than just going straight back and forth. I can go a little further though. The 15 in here, of course, is just a number that I can change. That was just a bad, unlucky sort of thing. Because I was kind of stuck on the edge and unable to get off it, it was bouncing around in that one spot. You can sort of see now that I'm jumping around. Oh, that's interesting. I get caught up in that corner. Okay, something to note. Wasn't expecting that, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do first is instead of turning 25 degrees, I'm going to, and I had it here a second ago. I'm going to pick a random number. Let's see if I can get this in here. Now you sort of see as, I don't know if you can see this, but as I hover the circle there becomes highlighted. I'm going to pick a random number between 1 and 90. And then I guess what I need to do based on what we just saw was force myself to get off that edge. So move those 10 steps right away to get off the edge. That'll hopefully keep me from getting stuck there again. So now let's sort of see what happens. I got stuck in that corner again. And I'm getting stuck on the corner. Oh, there we go. Continue off, bounce around. The randomness can keep me in the corner, but now, because it does get me other random numbers eventually, I can be bounced around a little bit more. I can also change this to be even sort of anything in a 360-degree range, and I can get some kind of crazy bounced around. Maybe that's not great because now I'm getting stuck off to the edge a little bit more. So we'll go back to the 90. Now this is the sort of thing that we end up playing with a lot in programming. I don't know what's going to happen exactly. I don't know how it's going to react. I know what I'm intending it to do, but it may just, do glitchy sort of things that I'm not expecting, and that's what it did there. When I move 10 extra steps, it helps get me off the edge a little bit, but it doesn't really keep me completely off the edge. I'd actually be interested in knowing what happens if I put the bounce right in here and see if so the bounce just knocks me off the edge already, keeps me from getting the other piece here. What if it's not going to let me do that. Get off of there. What if I put this on the inside now? Bounces, 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 and it actually ignores the turning random part. So I don't like that. Get rid of that other piece. I'm having trouble splitting things. If you notice, when I grab from the top, the whole thing will travel. I can't pull the if on edge bounce off, but if I grab that second level, I can pull it away, latch it back on, and then of course get rid of the if on edge. And so now that fish is bouncing around pretty randomly.